Okay, so let's start today's topic. So today's topic is in last class that we have already discussed about the analytic function. So can you tell me what is analytic function? Can you tell me anyone? What do you mean by analytic function? Yes? Anyone? So a function fz, a complex function, a function fz is said to be analytic in a region R if the function is what? The derivative of this function fz exists at each and every point of this region. At each and every point. Not even a single point you will get where the derivative of the function does not exist. So if you will get this condition that the derivative of this function fz exists at each and every point of this region R, then this function fz is called what? Your analytic function, or holomorphic function, or regular function, same thing. Then we have discussed about the singularity. Okay, then we have discussed about the singularity of the function. What was that one? So if you will get even a single point, if you will get even if a single point in the region where the derivative of the function does not exist, then you can say that the function is not analytic and the point is called your singular point, that we have discussed in the last class already. Now the question here arises here, since in this region R, there are infinite number of points. If you go on checking the derivative of the function fz at each and every point of this region R, it's not possible for you to get to find out the derivative of the function at each and every point. So in that case, how will you check whether the given function is analytic or not? So for that, this Cauchy-Riemann partial differential equation will help you to identify whether the given function is what? Analytic or not. Okay, so this is called your necessary condition for the function fz to be analytic. So what is the necessary and sufficient condition? And next we'll learn about the sufficient condition. So as already we know that a complex function is always of the form this one, u of x comma y and plus I v of xy. Here u of xy is the real part of a complex function and v of xy is what? Imaginary part of the complex function fz. And z is of the form x plus iy. So if this function has of what? It has two parts. One is u part, that is real part, another is v part. If this real and imaginary part, if it satisfies these two equations, these two partial differential equations, if this u and v, if this real and imaginary part of a complex function, if it satisfies this two equations, u suffix x means what? What do you mean by u suffix x? That is your partial derivative of what? Partial derivative of u. Partial derivative of what? U with respect to what? X. Similarly, v suffix xy means partial derivative of v with respect to y. U suffix y means partial derivative of u with respect to x, and v suffix x means partial derivative of v with respect to x. So, as already we know that this function fz, so we are going to check whether this function is analytic or not. So for that, we are going to uh, use this Cauchy-Riemann partial differential equation. So how will you derive it? So let us consider the function fz, the given function fz is analytic. So if the function is analytic, then it must be differentiable. So just I have considered the function fz is what? Differentiable. If this function fz is differentiable, so fz is of the form u of xy and v of xy. So now u is a function of what? X and y, and v is a function of x and y. So here this u is a function of two variable, two independent variable x and y, and here v is also functions of two independent variable x and y. So u and v are functions of two independent variable x and y. So if you go on finding its derivative, since already you know that the function fz, already you have considered the function fz is differentiable. So this u and v is also differentiable. If fz is differentiable, that means u and v is also differentiable. Otherwise, if u and v are not differentiable, so you can't say that fz is differentiable. So what I'm trying to say here, this u and v are, since u and v are differentiable, and here u and v are functions of two independent variable. Functions of what? Two independent variable. Now, if in any function, if there are more than one independent variable, and if you want to find the derivative of that function, then the derivative should be what? Your partial derivative. If there are only one independent variable in a function, then the derivative should be what? Ordinary derivative. You'll get the ordinary derivative. But in a function, if there are more than one independent variable, then in that case, the derivative should be what? Your partial. So here, the derivative of u and v will be what? The derivative of u and v should be what? Your partial derivative. So that's why. So since this function fz is differentiable, so this u and v is also differentiable. That means the derivative of u with respect to a x and with respect to y, and the derivative of v with respect to x and with respect to y, all will exist, and this will satisfy. So if the function will satisfy this condition, u del u by del x equal to del b by del y, and del u by del y equal to minus del b by del. If any function will satisfy this condition, then that function is called what? Your analytic function. Now let us prove the result. Now we are going to prove the result. So this is the form of fz, u of xy plus I of xy, and the function is what? Differentiable. So as already you know that the first principle of derivative, already I have discussed in the last class, the first principle, using the first principle of derivative. So that is what? F of z plus del z minus fz by upon del z. So if limit del z here, limit del z tends to 0. Limit del z tends to 0. Okay. So if limit del z tends to 0, f of z plus del z minus fz by del z, if this limit exists, then you can say that the function fz is what? Differentiable. So this is the first principle of derivative. Just I have used the definition of first principle of derivative. Now here see, z is of what form? Z is of the form x plus iy. Is it not? It is of the form x plus iy. So now this del z is what? Del z is nothing but increment in the value of z. So this del z, you can write what? In the form of del x plus I del y. Okay. Now if you add this z plus del z, if you add this, so z plus del z will be what? Now write the real part together and imaginary part together. So you will get like this. X plus del x plus I y plus what? Y plus del y. Okay. So now z plus del z will be what? X plus del x plus I y plus del y. Now what you do here, replace this all with its form. So z plus del z replaced by this one, z replaced by this one, and del z by this one. So z plus del z, if I replace, so now see here, fz, fz is of which form? Fz is of the form, now here z is of the form of what? X plus iy. So fz will be of the form u of xy and plus I of v of xy. So in place of z, if you write z plus del z, so this u of xy will be changed what? U of what? X plus del x, y plus del y plus I v x plus del x, y plus del y. Similarly, fz will be what? U of xy plus I of vxy. Then del z will be what? Del x plus I del y. So just I have substituted all this here. Here. All this I have substituted here. After substitution, just to see what you have, what you are getting. Now see here, what you are getting. So just I have substituted here. Z plus del z means what? U of x plus del x, y plus del y. And then plus I, v of x plus del x, y plus del y. And then in place of fz, I have substituted what? U of xy plus I of vxy divided by del z. That means what? Del x plus I del y. And then we have what I have did? Real part and imaginary part I have separated into two parts. So if you separate, you will get the like this term. So this is the real part and this is the imaginary part. Is that clear? Just simple. Just to substitute there, you will get this result. Now, what should you do? Now since here del z is tends to 0, is it not? Del z is what? Tends to 0. This limit we need to take. So if del z is tends to 0, so del z will be what? Del z is of the form, del z is equal to what? Del x plus I del y. So if this del z will tends to, if this will tends to 0, so obviously this del x will also tends to 0 and this del y will also tends to 0. So ultimately, if del z tends to 0, then del x and del y tends to 0. Now what we are going to do here, now I am considering this del z should be a purely real quantity. So can you tell me when this del z will be purely real? When this del z will be purely real?
When del y equal to 0.
Yeah. This imaginary part should become 0. Then only this del z will be your purely real. So this del y should be 0. If you are considering del z will be 0, it means purely real, then del y must be 0. So what I am going to take? Take del z to be wholly real so that del y becomes what? 0. So if you are taking, so in that case, if you are taking del z is purely real, so del y becomes 0. That's gone. So del z equal to what? Del x. Now if del z tends to 0, so del x will tends to 0. Now you take the limit here by substituting del y equal to 0. Just to substitute here, del y is equal to 0 and take limit as del x tends to 0. So here, limit del x tends to 0. And now I have substituted here in place of del y, substitute 0 here. And see, you will get this result. Now, see here, the important thing here. Now, if you see this equation, so what you are observing here? Now see, This is x plus del x, and this is what here? X. And here it is del x. Here it is del x. Similarly, here it is x plus del x, and here x. There will be no change in the value of y. Is there any change in the value of y? No. There will be no change in the value of y. So there is change in the value of x only here. So like this will be the, like it will be the derivative or partial, this because there are two variables, no? So there will be change in one variable here. There will be no change in the value of other variable. So this will be the partial derivative of what? This will be the partial definition of partial derivative. So here the change is what? Change in the variable x, and same del x is there in the denominator. So if this limit exists, if limit del x tends to 0, u of x plus del x comma y minus u of xy upon del x, if this limit exists, then this will be nothing but is equal to del u upon del x. This will be nothing but del u upon del x. Okay, this will be nothing but del u upon del x. Similarly here, if the limit del x tends to 0, v of x plus del x comma y minus v of xy upon del x, if this limit will exist, then this will be equal to what? Your del v by del x. This will. So why this limit will not exist here? Obviously the limit will exist because you have already considered the function is what? Differentiable. If the function is differentiable, then the derivative of u and v must exist. So this limit will obviously exist. So this will be equal to what? Del u by del x, and this will be equal to what? Del v by del x. So if you are taking del z as purely real, then you are getting this one. Okay. Now next. Similarly, what you'll do? Next you consider del z is purely imaginary. Next you consider what? Del z is purely imaginary. If del z is purely imaginary, then what will happen here? This del x becomes what? This del x becomes 0. If del x will not be 0, then del z will not be purely imaginary number. So for purely imaginary number, real part must be equal to 0. So here, since I am considering del z is purely imaginary, so this del x becomes 0. So del z equal to what? I del y. So if del z tends to 0, so del y tends to 0. Now what I do? I will consider del z is purely imaginary number, and then in the same equation, equation 2, I will substitute in place of del x, I will substitute what? 0. And then if you proceed in the similar fashion, you will get another equation of the form of what? Another equation of the form, this one. You try to find it out. You will get this one. Like here, you have got for this one. You have got for this one, this equation, ux plus ivx. Similarly, if you take purely imaginary number, so here limit will be del y tends to 0, and there will be change in the variable what? There will be change in the variable y. There will be no change in the variable of what? X. So you will get this equation. Now, this all four partial derivative, ux, vx, uy, and vy, all partial derivative must exist because the function is differentiable. So since the function fz is differentiable, then what? Their partial derivatives, these all partial derivatives, these two equation, this equation and this equation must be equal. If these two equations are not equal, then you can't say that the function fz is differentiable. So for function fz to be differentiable, these two equation these two expression must be equal. So if these two expressions are equal, then if we equate this one, that is what? Ux plus ivx, ux plus ivx. If you equate these two, then what? V of y minus I of what? U of y. Now equate the real and imaginary part. So ux is equal to what? Vy, and uy is equal to what? You can write vx equal to minus uy. So ui is equal to what? Minus vx. So now you got the two equations. So these two equations are called Cauchy-Riemann partial differential equation. These two equations are called what? Your Cauchy-Riemann partial differential equation. So if any function which satisfying this equation, these two equations, then that functions are called what? Your analytic function. So these two equations are called what? Your Cauchy-Riemann partial differential equation. Next is your necessary and sufficient condition for a function fz to be analytic. So what was the necessary condition just now we have discussed? If a function fz is differentiable, then the partial derivatives of what? U and v with respect to x and y must exist, and that will satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann partial differential. That was the necessary condition. So the necessary and sufficient condition for the function w equal to fz, that is u of xy plus I vxy, to be analytic in a region R, is that what? The partial derivative must exist, and exist means it must be continuous, and this del u by del x equal to del b by del y, and del u by del x equal to minus del u by del x. So if these two equations, so if a function is analytic, then these two conditions must be true. So what are the necessary condition and sufficient condition? So necessary condition is what? If a function is analytic, then these two conditions are true. And if you don't know whether the function is analytic or not, and if you are able to show these two conditions, that the partial derivative exists and these two equations are satisfied by any equation, then you can say that the function is what? Analytic. So this is the necessary and sufficient condition. So necessary condition is what? If a function is analytic, then the condition 1 and 2 will be must satisfied. Then in reverse way, that is sufficient condition is what? If these two conditions, if you are able to show that these two conditions are satisfied by any function, then you can say that the function is what? Analytic. So this is the necessary and sufficient condition. So this necessary condition, just now I have proved it. In a similar way, sufficient condition has been proved. You will be able to understand that one. Just once you go through that one. Now next is your polar form of a Cauchy-Riemann equation. So already I have discussed in the very first class how to transform a Cartesian equation to its polar form. So the transformation is what? Always you need to put the transformation what? X equal to what? R cos theta, and y is equal to what? R sin theta. Always you need to put this transformation in order to convert a Cartesian equation into what? Into its polar form. So if you substitute, so if you do this one, x square plus y square is equal to what? R square cos square theta plus R square sin square theta. R square common, cos square theta plus sin square theta must be equal to 1. So x square plus y square is equal to R square. Similarly, y upon x means r sin theta by r cos theta, r will cancel out. Sin theta by cos theta is your tan theta. So tan theta equal to what? Y by x. So theta equal to what? Tan inverse of y upon x. Now you find del r by del x. So since x square plus y square is equal to r square, so here r is a function of x and y. So if you are going to differentiate this function with respect to x, so the derivative should be your partial, not ordinary, because here r is a function of two independent variable x and y. So if you differentiate with respect to x, so r square the derivative of r square will be what? Twice r del r by del x is equal to derivative of x square with respect to x is twice x, and derivative of y square with respect to x is what? That will be 0, because you are differentiating this equation with respect to x. So in partial derivative, if you are differentiating with respect to some variable, then the derivative of other variable with respect to that variable will be 0. That means if you are differentiating here with respect to x, then other variable, whatever other independent variable, that all independent variable, other independent variable, you need to consider as constant. So here y becomes constant because you are differentiating with respect to x. So y becomes constant. So y square is a constant, and derivative of constant is what? 0. So here del r by del x will be how much? Del r by del x will be equal to what? 2 will cancel out, x upon r. Similarly, you can find del r by del y. Del r by del y, that is equal to what? Y by r. Similarly, you can find del theta by del x, del theta by del y. Okay. So these all these things will be required in the later part. So here del theta by del x is calculated. You can easily So del theta by del x is what? Just simple differentiation, nothing more. Del theta by del x will come as minus sin theta upon r, and del theta by del y will come as cos theta by r. So del u by del x will be how much? So now see here. Try to understand. Now you have converted Cartesian to what? Polar. Okay. So now you will becomes a functions of what? R and theta. And this r and theta will become a functions of what? X and y. Now your question is find the derivative of u with respect to x. So you can't go directly here. You have to go through this part, this one. Then you can go through that one. So that will be what? Del u by del x. Del u by del x. First, del u by del r into del r by del x. Then del u by del theta plus del u by del theta into del theta by del x, like this. Chain rule of differentiation. Then del u by del r, it doesn't have any value. So del r by del x just now, del r by del x is how much we have got? Del r by del x. How much you have got? X by r. Is it not? Now x is equal to what? R cos theta, the substitution. X equal to what? R cos theta upon r. So this will be what? R will cancel. That will be what? Cos theta. So del r by del x equal to what? Cos theta. Now del u by del theta, and del theta by del x just now we have calculated, that is minus sin theta by r. So plus minus minus sin theta by r. Similarly, del u by del y. If you want to find the derivative of u with respect to y, so you have to go through this one. First, del u by del r into del r by del y. Then del u by del theta into del theta by del y. And then you substitute. Similarly, you can find del v by del x. Similarly, you can find del v by del x and del v by del y. So just all you have all you have calculated. So after calculation, just if you substitute in this equation, this was your what? This was the Cauchy-Riemann equation, is it not? This was the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So if you substitute here, you'll get this equation. This you will get from this the first equation, and from this you will get this equation. Okay. Now what you do? Multiplying the equation 1 by what? By cos theta, and the equation 2 by what? Sin theta. And then you are adding. So simple. Just to multiply this equation 1 by what? Cos theta, and this equation 2 by sin theta, and then you add these two equations. If you add these two equations, and then after simplification, you will get this equation. Del u by del r is equal to 1 upon r del v by del theta. Next, what you do? So this is the one equation you have got of Cauchy-Riemann equation in polar form. The other equation, because the Cauchy-Riemann equation has two equations, so other equation how will you get? Now what you do? Multiply the equation 1 by minus sin theta and equation 2 by cos theta. Multiply, this time you need to multiply the equation 1, this equation 1 by what? Minus sin theta, and this equation 2 by what? Cos theta. And then you add. If you add this time, then you will get another equation, and that equation will be what? Of the form? That equation is of the form this one. 1 upon r del u by del theta is equal to what? Minus del v by del r. So these two equations are called what? Cauchy-Riemann partial differential equation in what? In polar form. So these two equations must you remember. Okay. So these are equation 3 and 4 are called what? Cauchy-Riemann equation in what? In polar form. So if your suppose if your function is given in polar form, and if you need to check whether the function is analytic or not, then you need to verify these two equations. If these two equations are verified by the given function, then that function you can say that is your what? Analytic. Similarly, here dw by dz, that is w is the functions of z, and z is the functions of what? R and theta, and r and theta is what? Functions of x and y. So if you want to find dw by dz, so first with respect to x, so del w by del x equal to del w by del r into del r by del x plus del w by del theta into del theta by del x. Then you just simply and del w by del r, w is of the upward form. It is of the form u plus iv. So del u by del r plus I del v by del r. Similarly, just you go through that one. That is very simple. So dw by dz in polar form, it will come like this: e to the power minus I theta del w by del r. Okay, what I'm saying, just you join again. Okay, the meeting will get disconnected, so join again. I have to discuss some more thing. Just just a minute. So what do you mean by harmonic function? So before knowing harmonic function, you need to know what you mean by Laplace equation. So Laplace equation is what? This equation. This equation is called your Laplace equation. So any equation of the form del square phi upon del x square plus del square phi upon del y square is equal to 0. This equation is called your Laplace equation. This equation is called what? Your Laplace equation. Okay. So what do you mean by harmonic function now? Any function which satisfy this Laplace equation. Any function which satisfy this Laplace function, then that that function is called what? Your harmonic function. Very simple. Any function which satisfy Laplace equation is called your harmonic function. Now, here just to try to understand. Now, fz, that fz always of the form that you know, that is of the form u plus iv. It is of the form u plus iv. So, if this function fz to be harmonic, if this function fz to be harmonic, then it says that what? The function this fz must satisfy this Laplace equation. If this function fz will not satisfy this equation, then it cannot be a harmonic function. For the function fz to be harmonic, this function must satisfy this equation, this Laplace equation. So in order to check whether this function fz is analytic or not, we need to check whether the function fz satisfy this Laplace equation or not. So in place of checking this fz, if you able to find out whether this u and v, because fz, the form, this is the form of fz, that means you are going to check this one. So just separately check whether these two both u and v satisfying this Laplace equation or not. If this both u and v, if it satisfy this Laplace equation, then you can say that what? This fz is what? This fz is what? Harmonic function. This function fz is what? Harmonic. That means you need to check whether this del square u upon del x square plus del square u upon del y square is equal to 0. And then you need to, for v, same thing, del square v upon del x square plus del square v upon del y square must be equal to 0. So if these two equations are satisfied by u and v, and that is what? Laplace equation. So u and v are satisfying Laplace equation. So this fz is what? Called harmonic function. So these things are described here. So see here. Let fz equal to u plus iv is analytic in some region of z plane. Then u and v is what? If fz is analytic, then that means what? This fz will satisfy the what? Cauchy-Riemann equation. That is the necessary condition. So this is the Cauchy-Riemann, del u by del x equal to del v by del y, and del u by del y equal to what? Minus del v by del x. Now what we do? Now we are going to check whether this fz is what? Harmonic or not. Harmonic or not. So I have considered this fz is analytic. Then by the necessary condition, that means Cauchy-Riemann equation, you will get these two equations since fz is analytic. So what I am going to do, I am going to differentiate this equation 1 with respect to x again, and equation 2 with respect to y again. So what you will get? Here already the first derivative with respect to x. So if you differentiate once more with respect to what? With respect to x again. With respect to x again, this one. So you'll get what? Del square u upon del x square, and this side you'll get what? Del square v del x del y. Now the same here in the second equation, differentiate with respect to y. So here already with respect to y once already have done. So if you do once more, so you'll get about del square u upon del y square is equal to minus del v by del y del x. Now you see, either you write del square v del x into del y. So what? Or you write del square v del y del x. The value of these two, both the differentiation are same. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is what? You are differentiating del v by del y with respect to y, del b by del y with respect to x. And the meaning of this is what? That means del b by del y you already know, and then you are differentiating with respect to x. And the meaning of this is what? You are differentiating del b by del x with respect to what? With respect to y. But ultimately, the result of these two, the value of these two will be same. So if you add these two, so del x square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square is equal to what? This minus this. So this, since these two are same, so this becomes 0. So what you will get? You will get del square u upon del x square plus del square u by del y square. So this, the function u satisfying the what? Laplace equation. That means what? The function u is harmonic. Similarly, you can do with the function v. You need to check that also. So what this time we'll do? Now this time we'll differentiate the equation, this one, equation 1 with respect to y, and equation 2 with respect to x, and then subtract it. This time you differentiate this with respect to y and this with respect to what? X. And then you subtract it, both the equations then. And then you will get, you will be able to find, you will get del square v by del x square plus del square v by del y square. That will be 0. So v will satisfy that Laplace equation again. So that has been done here. So you'll get this one. So what you have got? Both u and v are satisfying the Laplace equation. That means fz is satisfying the Laplace equation. That means fz is a what? Harmonic function. That means fz is a what? Harmonic function. Okay. So in the next class, we'll discuss about the method of constructing a regular function. How you can construct a regular function. So we'll discuss this empty method, Milne-Thomson method, empty method. In short, it is known as empty method. So we'll discuss in the next class. Okay. So